the Heat, they didn't have any expectations. They have an expectation to win this series. So now that they have expectations, what I told you, when a team doesn't have expectations, they're dangerous. This team is no longer as dangerous as they was because they have expectation now, and that's to win this series and close the Boston Celtics out. Which I told you that I don't think in my lifetime a team will come back from 3-0, a 3-0 deficit in the playoffs. And I still don't think so, but the Boston Celtics and the Miami Heat is a very intriguing series at this point. After the Heat went up 3-0, I kind of thought, yes, it's wraps. They're gonna win this. They're gonna win this in 5. They're gonna win this in 4 or 5. We're now heading to a game 6, Eddie. Jason Tatum once again with the Boston Celtics have forced themselves back into a underdog situation, and we know how they get when they're in those situations. When they have the expectations on them, they don't quite live up. This is not looking real good for the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat, for all the credit that y'all built up for yourself throughout this playoffs, all of that bravado and the tough, the gritness and all of that, Jimmy Butler's the best player in the playoffs, which I don't agree with, especially at this point. He hasn't been consistent. I don't care what nobody says. You know, I give him credit for what he's doing, carrying his team, but he has not been consistent all the way through like a Nikola Jokic. So Nikola Jokic is the best player in the playoffs, so we can say whatever we want.
Combo too. I want people to understand that.
So I have to say this. All the things y'all did in this playoffs gets washed completely away and forgotten if y'all choke a 3-0 deficit. So think about every team that's went up 3-0. They have won the series. If you guys blow a 3-0 deficit, you are the laughing stock of the NBA. And that's not going to carry over well throughout next season. It's not. No matter the circumstance. We know the Warriors had a ton of circumstances when they blew a 3-1. Ton of circumstances. It didn't matter, though. Because guess what? They still get that heat for blowing that 3-1. So you're going to hear about this for years to come because this is an historic feat. That's going to be terrible. So I think the Heat will close this out at 6. I'm banking on that. I'm going with history. But the talent deficit is showing. You know, and I told you this, Eddie. I went with talent over reality. And now it's the tides are turning. And the talent of the Boston Celtics is showing greatly over this Miami Heat team, who is by far not as talented as the Celtics. And that's taking over. This is a factor. We see on the last 2 games, they're getting dominated. Absolutely destroyed on defense and offense. What the Celtics should have been doing from game 1. Now the Celtics back is against the wall. Jason Tatum is playing out his mind with elimination on his mind. So it's not looking good. They're putting the Heat in a tight situation. And that the expectations, look, the Heat, they didn't have any expectations. They have an expectation to win this series. So now that they have expectations, what I told you, when a team doesn't have expectations, they're dangerous. This team is no longer as dangerous as they was because they have expectation now. And that's to win this series and close the Boston Celtics out, which is becoming very difficult for them.
Bruh, yo, what I told you yesterday, to see in that game, I'm scared for the Heat. Because it's like, at this point, I'm not saying it's not possible. But now that we're going into a game 6, it's all gas, no brakes at this point. You can't find yourself losing. You just won 2 straight games. You cannot find yourself losing, bro. You can't. And I know this is extremely hard. You got to win 4 games. But listen, I said Jason Tatum, king of the East. I was agreeing with my boy. If he pulls this off, because he's been the best player for his team this series. He had 1 bad game, but there's been 5 games. Through these 5 games, he's definitely been the best player for the Celtics. He's had 4 really good games.
Been the best player on the court.
Yeah, on the court at this point. So if him and the Celtics can pull this off, I don't think we can say he's not the king of the East, bro. At this point, I think LeBron definitely has left the crown for him to pick that up for the East, bro. Because, bro, that's scary as that coming back 3-0 is really like crazy, bro. It really is. Like, we thought 3-1 is crazy, but 3-0, it'll be the Celtics to come back and do that. Jimmy Butler, you got to wake up. Jason Tatum ain't slowing down, and I hope he don't go to that inconsistent poopy he got next game. I hope that 1 game he gave us was it, and that's it. Because, bro, this can do wonders for his career, Eli. This right here. And this can switch up the Nuggets winning the championship narrative, because the Celtics, really, we know how they are against the best teams. Eli, we know how they get against the best teams in the league compared to the teams in the league. We know against teams that they should beat, that we know they should squash. We know how they get, and through the first, they've had teams like that through three rounds now, bro. Hawks should have squashed them. 76ers should have squashed them. Heat should have squashed them. We know how it is. Now they're gonna get to the finals. Around beat the Nuggets in 5, bro. We know how the Celtics can get when it comes to those good teams, bro.
But now let's get to Jimmy Butler, what he's doing. Jimmy Butler in this series, I want to say the last 3 games. I think it's crucial that I bring up the last 3 games because these are the games where he's just not been very good. Okay, so the last game, I'm gonna start with game 3. That's where he started because in game 1 he had 35 points on pretty good efficiency. In game 3, you know what I'm saying, which is one of his last 3 games in this series, he had 16 points on 5 for 13 shooting. 5 for 13, 38% from the field. And they blew the doors off the Celtics. So it really, he really didn't need to go off. In game 5, he had 14 points on 5 for 10. He didn't attempt any 3-pointers. They got blown out. In game 4, he had 29 points on 42% shooting from the field, 9 for 21. And he shot 25% from 3. So Jimmy Butler he's not being very consistent. They need him to play at a high level for them to beat the Boston Celtics. He's not doing that. Gabe Vincent is injured. He was giving him 17 points on good efficiency. I don't know, bro. Is he a factor? Yes, because they're gonna need all the players they can get to win this series. Tyler Hero may come back. He may be a factor. I'm hearing that it's looking real good for him as far as his progression with his hand injury. So if he comes back, maybe that may make a difference. Who knows if he's gonna come back rusty now. I mean, I think his injury's on the shooting hand. I don't know. But Jimmy Butler has not been playing up to par, and that could kind of explain why they're losing. Like this, because Jimmy Butler is the catalyst. He's the bus driver. So he needs to wake up in game 6 at home in Miami. You don't want to lose that game, because if you lose that game, series over. Pack your bags, take off the headband, put it in your suitcase. It's over with. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be a laughing stock. You're gonna be a meme. You're sitting up there laughing in game. What was it? Game 5 when y'all lost. Like, something's funny. I didn't see you laughing in game. What was it? Game 2. No. He was laughing in game. Laughing. The Celtics won game 4. He's sitting up there laughing. I didn't see you laugh. I didn't see you laughing in game 5, brother. I didn't see you laughing there. So, the expectations are on y'all now. So y'all have to, it's no longer, I'm gonna just go out there, have fun. We ain't got no expectations. It's no longer that.
It's one thing when the score is 0-0. It's one thing for the odds to be in one way, right? But when the score is 3-0, when the series score is 3-0 and the odds are in that favor, it's another thing. Like, it's almost little to none that you should lose when you're up 3-0. And I was saying, when they were up 3-0, should be a sweep, right? And it's clearly not going to be a sweep anymore because the Celtics just won 2 games. And we wanna shout out Joe Mazzulla real quick, because we gave him some heat. We said he was a coach. And it looked like he made some good adjustments. They have been playing really good defense on the Heat from what I can see, what I was seeing from the 2 quarters that I seen of the game yesterday, and the full almost the full game I seen the other game. They've been playing some really good defense. Maybe he figured out how to really play some defense. Maybe he stole something from Tom Thibodeau. Who knows? But shout out to Joe Mazzulla for making a good adjustment. Finally,
it took us some time. Al Horford going out there saying, he's getting better. Your players saying you're getting better is crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
It's crazy, but bro.
Co-coach, assistant coach.
Yeah, you can even if the Celtics come back 3-0, you can just wash away the 3 games that the Heat won, bro. It's like you damn near got swept, bro. They went on a 4-game winning streak. The only sport that has had a 3-0 deficit, a comeback from 3-0 deficit, is baseball, bro. So for that to happen in the NBA, like I said, I don't think that will happen in my lifetime. But I think I have to recant that statement, because if a team like this, this is just a bet. This is a good circumstance for the Celtics to come back 3-0 too, as well, because they're going up against a team with a guy who's playing at a superstar level with a bunch of role players.
Yeah.
So this is a good circumstance for them to come.
Oh, yeah,
I don't think there's gonna be a scenario like
this. Yeah, it's definitely.
Yeah, it won't. Even if they do this, I don't think another team will, because I don't think it's gonna be a low probability we see a circumstance like this where a seed is able to be up 3-0.
That's what makes it even worse, Eli. It's a difference to come back 3-0, and obviously baseball is the only sport for that to happen, because in the right, well, you can't do that in football. In football, the soccer sport, it's one game and done. Just both those sports are one game and done, basically. So these two sports right here, and with baseball, a guy can have a few days where, remember, it's back-to-back days they play. A guy can have a few days. A couple guys can have a few days where they're just cold, can't hit. In basketball, you get days off. You can be like your best player supposed to be consistent as is all time. Like every game, he's supposed to be best player on the court. So it's not supposed to happen in basketball. And if it does, in this circumstance where, like you said, a guy on a superstar level with a bunch of role players, it will never happen again. A superstar and a bunch of role players will never go up 3-0 ever again and choke that lead. It will never happen ever again. If it happens, it won't. It's just the circumstances or the probability, the chances for it to happen is extremely low, bro. I just can't see it.
I really think Jason Tatum, when his back is against the wall, he's a dangerous player. I think we should all know that's his identity at this point. This team loves to play with their back against the wall. The expectations, like I said, have shifted now to the Heat, and the Celtics are going out there now as the team that doesn't have any expectations. You know what I'm saying? Because the odds are against them to lose the series because they're down 3-0. The Celtics, I didn't imagine they would be in this circumstance to be down 3-0 against this team. But, they were sleeping, man, and they woke up. And like I said, I'm picking the Heat to finish this out in 6. But I would not be surprised if the Celtics do come back 3-0 because of the context in which what the series is looking like. And what is going on, players that are not in the series, X, Y, and Z. This may be the first 3-0 comeback. It may be. It may well be. But I got to say again, I got the Heat finishing this out in 6. I just think the humiliation of blowing the 3-0 lead it's haunting them at this point. And I think they're going to get hungry for Game 6. And Game 6 will be the hardest game of the Celtics' entire this entire season. Think about all the games the Celtics played. This will be the hardest game to win on the Miami Heat's floor. A team that is not trying to go back to the Celtics' home floor for Game 7. It's going to be very difficult for the Celtics to win that game tomorrow night. But if they do it, the series is over. The Heat are going home. They will have blown the 3-0 deficit, and they will be the laughingstock of the NBA for months to come, for years to come.